Okay, what if I told you that the most powerful invention in human history wasn't a tool, wasn't a technology, but just an idea? An idea so powerful, it literally built the world we live in today. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into.
So, let me ask you this. What if the most powerful number in all of history
Wasn't, the number one, the beginning of everything? Or maybe 10, the foundation of how we count? Nope. What if it was nothing? Seriously, let's talk about the incredible, world shaking power of zero.
Yeah, I know it sounds simple, but this whole idea of nothing being an actual number, it's way more recent than you'd think. And for most of human history, living in a world without zero, well, it created some huge problems. Just think about it for a second. Early humans, they counted what they could see and touch, right? Animals, tools, the days passing by. Their numbers were all about presence. So they could say, I have 5 sheep, but they didn't really have a simple way to say, I have no sheep. The concept of absence just wasn't there. And look, this wasn't just some philosophical debate. It was a practical nightmare. Can you imagine trying to build a pyramid or even just keep track of a kingdom's budget with a number system that struggles with numbers like 1,000 or 10,000? All that complex math you need to build empires or, launch rockets, it was pretty much impossible. And this shows you the problem perfectly. On the one side, you've got ancient systems like Roman numerals. I mean, just try doing multiplication with those. Yeah, good luck with that. But on the other side, you've got a positional system. And the huge difference? It's that little circle. It's zero. It's just a placeholder, but it makes everything clear. It's why we know the 1 in 101 means 100 and not just 10 or 1. So, how did we get from that mess to the system we have today? Well, it took a truly radical discovery, a complete flip in how we even think about what numbers are. The big breakthrough came from ancient India around the 7th century. Mathematicians there did something that was, frankly, revolutionary. They decided that nothing wasn't just an absence of something. It was a value in and of itself. And they didn't just stop there. They gave it a symbol, and most importantly, they gave it rules. And just like that, zero had this cool dual identity. On one hand, yeah, it was the placeholder we needed to make big math possible. But on the other hand, and this is the real game changer, it became a number you could actually use, a concept you could add, subtract, multiply, just like any other number. This really nails the shift in thinking. All of a sudden, the number 10 wasn't just a physical pile of 10 things anymore. It became this abstract idea, a 1 in the tens place held right there by a 0 in the ones place. That simple idea, it unlocked the power to write numbers that go on forever. Okay, but here is where the story gets really wild. Thousands and thousands of miles away on the other side of the planet with zero contact, the Maya civilization came up with the exact same idea. All on their own. They developed their own symbol for zero, mostly for their incredibly accurate calendars. So what does that tell you? This is the key takeaway right here. Zero wasn't just some lucky accident. It was a necessary discovery. It was the solution that two totally separate, complex civilizations came to because they both ran into the same problem. They both needed a better way to handle big numbers and abstract ideas. Now, once this idea was out there, it didn't just stay in one place. It started on this incredible journey across the entire globe, and it changed pretty much every culture it came into contact with. So you can see its path right here. It starts in India, then travels west, where it gets picked up and supercharged during the Islamic Golden Age. From there, it slowly works its way into Europe, where, believe it or not, people actually fought against it. And then, much later, it becomes the absolute foundation of our digital world. And that stop in the Islamic Golden Age was so important. Scholars like the great Al-Khwarizmi, they didn't just copy and paste the idea. No way. They translated all the Indian texts, wove zero into their own math, and used it to invent things like algebra and algorithms. In fact, the word algorithm comes from his name. They basically took the concept and put it on steroids. But then, when zero finally gets to Europe, it was not a welcome guest. Seriously. For some people, this idea of nothing being a number was just weird. It was philosophically unsettling. Some even saw it as dangerous, like it was challenging religious ideas about a perfect creation that couldn't have any empty spaces or voids. It literally took centuries for the sheer practical power of zero to finally win out over old traditions. But once it was accepted, oh man, zero became the key that unlocked pretty much everything we consider the modern world. It was the engine for the complex math of the Renaissance, the physics of the scientific revolution, and, yeah, eventually, the entire digital world we're all living in today. Because think about it, that little abstract idea, that symbol for nothing, it's literally half of the language that powers everything around us.
Your computer, your phone, every single piece of digital tech you own works by crunching billions of signals that are either on or off, 1 or 0, presence or absence. That's it. It's all just binary code, and none of it would be possible without that ancient, radical idea.
So when you really get down to it, zero isn't nothing, it's the idea of nothing. And that idea is the tool that lets us represent absence, that lets us think abstractly and build models that describe reality itself, from how planets move to how the stock market works. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. If one single abstract idea could completely reshape all of human civilization, just imagine what other invisible concepts are out there quietly shaping our world right now.